Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, the Caffeine Gamer, and this is Your Quest is Over, where we take a look back at games of generations past. Today's game is special in many ways. Not only is it one of my absolute favorite games of all time, it also celebrates its 25th anniversary. Well, at least at the time of recording or uploading this. What do you say we take a look back and see if we can't figure out the secret of Monkey Island? Way back when, a small team of developers over at Lucasfilm Games were working on what would become Maniac Mansion. Although still well appreciated amongst adventure game fans to this day, Maniac Mansion is perhaps a bit underappreciated for its long-term effect on Lucasfilm Games' future endeavors. If you're into point-and-click adventures, you'll no doubt know about the many and great contributions made by the fine folks at Lucasfilm Games, or LucasArts as they would later be known. Adventure games in a somewhat similar form had already been established by Sierra's King's Quest and Space Quest series. Lucasfilm did, however, succeed in streamlining the adventure game formula and refocusing it more on puzzles and dialogue. In fact, the heavy reliance on deaths in Sierra's adventure games was much to Lucasfilm designer Ron Gilbert's disliking. Instead, he wished to move away from the traditional death factor in favor of emphasis on exploration. Built upon the in-house Scum engine, The Secret of Monkey Island was released in October 1990. Like previous Scum-based games before it, Monkey Island relied a lot more on humor, quirky puzzles, and dialogue than most other games on the market at the time. It was a refinement of the Lucasfilm adventure game recipe, further enhancing the verb command interface and hardware compatibility, among other things. What set The Secret of Monkey Island apart from its siblings and rivals within the genre was its unique setting. Inspired by the Pirates of the Caribbean theme park ride, the game was set in a fictitious version of the Caribbean, in the age of swashbuckling pirates. Ron Gilbert was joined by many other, now famous names. Dave Grossman, Tim Schafer, Steve Purcell, Mark Ferrari, and Michael Land, among others. Although there were Lucasfilm games before it that at least to some degree contained the same mixture of humor and originality, Monkey Island would be the one franchise that would become basically synonymous with old-school point-and-click adventures. It set itself apart in a rapidly growing genre of computer games. Let's go ahead and take a look at the things that made The Secret of Monkey Island so great. Deep in the Caribbean, the island of Melee. Meet Guybrush Threepwood, our quote-unquote hero and wannabe pirate. Guybrush arrives one peaceful evening on the island of Melee. Although he does look more like a flooring inspector, the man at the lookout point points Guybrush in the right direction. He heads off to speak to the three pirate leaders in the Scum Bar, to learn of the 3 trials he must endure in order to properly call himself a pirate. The patrons at the Scum Bar are all very pirate-like and do seem to be actual pirates. But why are they not out exploring, having sword fights, and insulting other pirates? As it turns out, a local legend tells the spine-chilling tale of a once fearsome pirate, none other than LeChuck.
LeChuck.
LeChuck tried to convince local governor Elaine Marley to marry him, but she just doesn't feel that way about it. LeChuck then sails off to find out the famed secret of Monkey Island in order to impress the governor. The journey to Monkey Island is less than successful for LeChuck and his crew, with everyone ending up dead in what was rumored to be a terrible storm. Death does not stop the stubborn pirate, however, as LeChuck now roams the Caribbean, captaining a spectral ship. He has the rest of the supposed pirates indefinitely scared off of sailing the oceans, so they all hang out at the bar, drinking grog that melts the mugs. Believe it or not, this plays into a puzzle later in the game. Guybrush gets the information he needs from the pirate leaders. He has to master swordplay, thievery, and treasure huntery. On his way to complete these trials 3, Guybrush encounters plenty of quirky characters. There's the Voodoo Lady, the Men of Low Moral Fiber, the Fettuccine Brothers, Meat Hook, Carla, Otis, Stan, and of course, Governor Elaine Marley. Guybrush has quite a hard time talking to the lady at first. I guess that's why he's so relatable.
I really wish I knew how to talk to women.
From here on, the story gets more convoluted, as LeChuck won't risk letting some would-be pirate get in the way of his planned marriage. He tries to stop Guybrush while disguised as Sheriff Fester Shinetop. LeChuck fails to get rid of Guybrush, leading him to resort to simply kidnapping Governor Marley instead. Guybrush, enamored with Elaine, decides to round up his own crew of miscellaneous misfits to sail a ship towards Monkey Island, where LeChuck is supposedly holding out. Will Guybrush meet his true love again? Will he ever truly be a pirate? Will he find the secret of Monkey Island? And what's up with all this chatter about some voodoo root beer? All of these questions will at least be partially answered throughout the game. The Secret of Monkey Island marked the start of what would be one of the most iconic point-and-click adventure game series. It was its blend of humor, witty characters, and overall atmosphere that sold the game for me. Back when I first got in contact with Monkey Island, it was while watching my brother playing the first two games. Back then, I wasn't even in school, so I was not very fluent in the English language. I'd bother my brother to tell me what they were saying and what was going on in the story. More often than not, I'd bother him to the point where he'd be annoyed by my plentiful of questions. Understandably so, Monkey Island is truly a game that you should devote your full attention to as to not miss any of the great moments happening on screen. Even knowing as little of the English language as I did, I still really enjoyed the game. The ideas and general concepts of it were already funny enough to me as a kid, and the music, oh man, the music, the main theme, it's the best. To this day, I occasionally put on my headphones and listen to the main theme on full blast. It gives me the cozy, nostalgic chills all over. When I finally got around to playing the game and understanding it proper, I absolutely loved it. It definitely holds a special place in my heart. It's one of those immortal classics. Even though some aspects of the game might have aged, they've aged with dignity. It still holds up just as well to this day, and even if you're not a fan of tinkering with DOS or SCUM emulators, there's the remade special edition versions of Monkey Island 1 and 2 available on Steam and other platforms. Speaking of Monkey Island 2, there are a few sequels to The Secret of Monkey Island that you might want to check out.
Then again, a deal's a deal, right? Right.
Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge is one of the best sequels to a game ever, in my opinion. It follows up a few years after The Secret of Monkey Island, continuing the story of the now bearded Guybrush, who's on a new quest to seek out the famed treasure of Big Whoop. It improves upon the first game in pretty much every aspect, and, as mentioned, there's also the special edition remake available. There's also The Curse of Monkey Island, the third installment in the series. While the game itself is pretty solid, it does leave quite a gap between it and Monkey Island 2. The explanation might be that it was not helmed by Ron Gilbert, as he had left LucasArts by that time. It's still worth checking out, as it has its fair share of great moments. Then there's... well, I barely even want to mention it. Alright, for the sake of a complete listing, there's also Escape from Monkey Island. It was the series' first entry to make the transition into 3D. As for the game itself, well, it's absolutely fucking terrible. I am not joking. If you must sit through it, watch a YouTube long play of it or borrow it. Do not, under any circumstances, pay for this piece of flaming dog shit. I try to always see at least some redeeming qualities in even the bad games that I play, but Escape from Monkey Island? No, never. But let's not end on a sour note. Years later, Tales of Monkey Island was released by the current adventure game kings and queens over at Telltale Games. It's episodic, much like most of their other games, and while I don't remember it too well since I haven't played it in a long time, I remember liking it overall back when it was new. I liked it enough that I forked out a little extra dough to upgrade my physical copy to the collector's treasure box. The Your Quest is Over series has been lacking a bit in content since I introduced it to the channel. I could think of no better choice for the next video once I heard that The Secret of Monkey Island was celebrating its 25th birthday this year. It's a game that I've known and loved since childhood, and one that I actually revisit regularly. In fact, some years ago I started playing it on Christmas Eve, just around the duration of the first act or so, since I didn't want to be the one sitting in front of the computer all afternoon while the whole family was gathered. I've been playing it just a little bit every year since, as my own Christmas tradition. Usually I fire up the Scum VM emulator and play it just the way I remember it from way back when, in 320 by 200 resolution with ad-lib music and sound effects. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been all about The Secret of Monkey Island for this time. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then.